Have you ever wondered how a website is actually built? Not the design that you see, but the structure behind it? Let me show you. This is actually my own website that I'm currently working on about real estate investment trust dashboard. You can see the portfolio part. But when we right click and inspect on it, you start seeing something like this. Let me zoom in. You start seeing something like this. This is actually HTML. You can see the declaration, the doc type HTML. And don't worry about that if you're completely a beginner. Today I'm going to teach you how it works step by step. And this is the foundation of every website on the internet. Hello everyone, welcome to Tech Urban Vest channel and our first HTML lesson. My name is David, and through this channel I'll be getting you as we learn the basics of HTML and the basics of building web pages. Do not worry if you're completely new into this. We'll be taking each step by step, and by the end you'll be also able to create your own simple website. And before you forget, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification button so that when I release my next video, you'll be the first one to be notified about it.
Now, let's get into setting up our environment for coding. Into coding, you may need a code editor and a browser. For code editors, we have different types of code editors. We have the Sublime Text, we have the Atom, we have the Bracket, we have Notepad++, and we have also the Visual Studio Code, for which I may recommend for us to use because it has many advantages when using it. For Visual Studio Code, you can run your code offline. You can also have different types of shortcuts. It is beginner friendly, and if you are using your PC or laptop and do not have the Visual Studio Code, you can install it because it is free to download. For those who are using mobile phones or smartphones, you can download an app known as the Mobile HTML Creator or HTML Creator. It is also mobile friendly and you can run your code offline. So after installing the Visual Studio Code, you may need to download some extensions, and one of the extensions include the live server. In my case, I've installed this before, so this is the extension that you have to install, the live server. It helps in running the code, and it also helps us to run the code while offline. So for the live server, within the extension, we just search live server, and you have to be online for you to install this extension. But after that, you can edit your code offline, you can run your code offline. Now, after installing your live server, how do you use your Visual Studio Code or our code editor? You have to open folders. So for our case, we may have this display over here. New file, open folder, connect to, generate workspace. But what do you want to do? You want to create a new folder from which we'll be creating our files. So for our case, let's create a new folder and name it. So we have clicked, let me get back into that. We have clicked open folder and then you create new folder. Let's say HTML, with capital letters, HTML tutorial, and then you select the folder HTML tutorial. This is the folder that we want. So you may be asked, do you trust the authors of the files in this folder? Just click on yes, I trust the author. Now after creating the folder, you have to create new file. Now same as document files have the Word document files, we have the extension .docs. Within the Word document file, we have the extension .docs. So for our HTML file, we must have the extension .html. So when we have to create our file, the .html is a must for it to be the .html. So whatever you write behind the .html does not matter, but the .html extension do matter. So we may write, let's say, tutorial. In my case, I will write tutorial.html. We may write my first HTML tutorial.html. It's also applicable, but what is necessary right in here is the extension of the HTML file, the .html. For CSS it's .css, but because we're dealing with HTML, let the extension remain to be .html. So whatever you write here, like the tutorial, doesn't matter. What matters is the extension, and I will insist on that. The extension must be .html. I mean, the file must have the extension .html. Now click on create new file and then create file. Here we have our folder HTML tutorial and our HTML file tutorial.html. So within here you can see we are told generate code or control plus I, or select a language, start typing or dismiss, don't show this again. Here is where we'll be typing our code.
Now, after setting up our environment, after downloading our Visual Studio Code, our code editors, our browser, let's get into the HTML basics. Many people do believe that HTML is a programming language. HTML is not a programming language. HTML is a standard markup language for creating and structuring documents on the World Wide Web, that is the www. Hypertext means text that contains links to other documents or resources, and links in HTML are known as hyperlinks. So hypertext is text that contain links to other documents or resources. Markup means using special tags to tell the browser what each piece of content is. We have different types of tags, and we'll get into that and understand what is a tag and the different types of tag. For our case, we may have heading, paragraph, images, links, and more so. Languages means set of rules and syntax that browsers understand. So let's take this scenario of a website being a house. So it being a house that is to be created, HTML would be used to create the walls, that is the skeleton of the house, and then CSS will be used as the paintings and decorations within the house, and then for the electrical part will be the JavaScript, acting as the electricity of the house to add interactivity or to make everything work. So HTML in short that does not style the page or add interactivity. It simply defines the structure and meaning of the content. Styling is handled by the CSS, that is the cascading style sheet, and interactivity is added by JavaScript. Now, let's get into the basic HTML structure. For exam purposes, you may be asked to define each one of these. The doc type HTML, this is the declaration that tells the browser which version of HTML the page is written in. Specifically, it means the HTML5, which is the current basic standard version of HTML document. We have the HTML tag. It is the root element that wraps all the content on your page. Everything within the HTML element is part of the HTML document. And let element or the word element not bother you. We'll get into knowing what an element is. Now, we have the head tag. The head tag contains meta information about the page, and anything within the head tag is not shown on the page itself. It includes title, the metadata, styles, links to script, and links to style sheets. We'll get into knowing that and understanding that when we get into a practical part. Then we have the title element. The title element is written within the head section or the head element, and it is not shown within the page itself, because I said earlier anything between the head element is not shown on the page itself, so the title will not be shown within the page itself. Instead, it will be shown on the browser's tab or the title bar. It is also used by search engine optimization for page names and results. And now we have the closing tag of the head. It closes the head section, and then we have the body tag. Within anything within the body tag is visible content of your page, and it may include text, images, videos, links, etc., etc. And this is the closing tag of the body section. No visible page content should be placed after this. And then we have the closing HTML tag. Now let's get into our code editor, that is the Visual Studio Code, and get into understanding more of the basic HTML structure. Now, as we had set up earlier environment within our code editor, we had opened our new folder. My folder in my case is HTML tutorial. I don't know by your side what folder have you created. And then my file is my tutorial.html. So after you created your folder, you can create your file, and then within the file, that's where we'll be writing our code. I want to show you why I recommended Visual Studio Code, and it is beginner friendly, and it uses the principle of recognition rather than recall, which makes it more usable for beginners. So within our code, we'll write our basic HTML structure. So a shortcut for this, you may use exclamation mark and then enter, and with that we have our basic HTML structure: the declaration doctype HTML, the HTML tag, the head tag, the body tag, and the closing tag of the HTML. This is our simple basic HTML structure. So you enter your, let me do that again for you. So exclamation mark and then press enter, and with that we have our basic HTML structure: the doctype HTML head section, the body section, and the closing tag of the HTML. Do not let this confuse you. The meta just said the meta name, not confuse, and we may delete for our case. We may delete it and remain with the title element. As we had said earlier, our title element will be displayed on the browser's tab. Anything within the head section will not be displayed within our page. It will be displayed somewhere else. For example, the title element within the head section will be displayed on the browser's tab. Let me show you what I mean. So if you want to run, for those who have installed the live server, you just right click on your HTML file, and then you scroll down to open with live server, and here we go. Because we have not written anything within the body section, because we said anything written within the body section is what will be displayed within our page, but because we have written nothing, we have nothing being displayed. But for our title within the head section, it is displayed within the browser's tab, and here is it. Our title was document. We can change it and see if there will be a difference. Let's say HTML, and then save. After writing anything or after making any changes within your code, you have to save. That is Control Save. You hit Control then save, so that your code may be saved. And all you have to do is to shift and go to your browser and then check if the changes have been applied. You see, for our title case it was document, but for now it is HTML tutorial because we have entered the HTML tutorial as our title. Now let's get into HTML tags, or the common tags within HTML. We have understood our basic HTML structure. We have the doc type HTML, and as I said, for exam purposes, you may be asked to explain each of these within the basic HTML structure. As I said earlier, the doc type HTML is a declaration that tells the browser that this is the HTML document. HTML is the root element. The head section, anything contained within the head section is not displayed within our browser. Anything within the body section is displayed within the page. Now let's get into common tags in HTML. Now, after understanding the basic structure of HTML, let's get into the common tags in HTML. By the way, what is a tag? A tag is a piece of code that tells the browser how to display content. Example, we have the h1 tag. Elements are made up of a start tag, content, and an end tag. For example, we have the h1 element. The h1 element has the start tag, a content, that is this is an element, and the closing tag. And within the closing tag, we use the forward slash, not the backslash. Most people tend to use the backslash while ending a tag, which may cause an error within your code. So for the end tag, you have to enter a forward slash. Although some elements have no content or even end tags, examples being the break tag and the horizontal rule. We have more examples of these kind of elements that do not have content or even end tag. They only have the start tag. These elements are referred to as the empty elements. We have 5 common HTML tags. These are the headings, paragraphs, lists, links, and images. But for this tutorial, I'll be taking you through the headings, paragraphs, and lists. Let's get into headings and paragraphs. We have headings from H1 to H6, H1 being the largest and H6 being the least. And this is how you write your element. Start tag, content, this is a heading, and then you close the tag, or you end the tag with a forward slash. Same as to paragraph. P being the tag of the paragraph. This is a paragraph of text, then you close the paragraph. Let's get into our practical part so that we may understand the heading and paragraphs. Now, as we had created our basic HTML structure and entered our title as HTML tutorial, we may enter our content, and content to be displayed within the page is entered within the body section, as I had said earlier. So for our heading, we'll have our first heading, largest heading. So we have our heading 1. Let's copy paste this up to 6 headings. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have extra headings. I think these are enough, and then we may edit. This is heading 1, this is heading 2. We have our heading 3. We have heading 4, heading 5, and our last heading being heading 6. And as we said, heading 6 is the list heading. So let's say tutorial to be our content within our heading element, tutorial. Then let's copy this and enter into reach of our heading. Just paste into each of them. I want to show you the difference between the 6 of these headings. As we had said, heading 1 is the largest and heading 6 is the smallest heading. Running, you just right click on your HTML file and then open with live server, and here we go. See, heading 1 is the largest heading, H2, H3, H4, H5 and H6 being the smallest and the least heading within our page. Now let's get into paragraph. See, paragraph is defined by the p tag, and then in the paragraph we may write anything like, let's say, Lorem. Lorem is just a common name in Visual Studio Code, so when you enter Lorem and click enter within your paragraph, it will just display some random text, and then save and run with your live server. And here we go. This is our heading H1 to H6, then we have our paragraph. And that's our heading and paragraph. And there's another thing that I wanted to add up on this. See, our web browser, there's a white space between each of these headings. Let's say, for example, in our paragraph, I want this to come below the first text. So let me the settings of this browser is set into default such that when we run this, it will be displayed the same way as it is in our editor. It will just be displayed as a straight line. Let's run this and see how it will be displayed. There is no changes within our paragraph, but for us to make our paragraph to be displayed as it is within our editor, we may use the pre-formatted text as our paragraph, the pre tag. It is also known as the pre-formatted text as our paragraph. So when writing a poem for example, and you want it to be in block format, you may use the pre-formatted text, for it ignores the white space and displays your content as the way you want it to be displayed. Let's see for our case. You see, it also leaves white space the way it is within our code. That's the pre-formatted text. You can also use instead the BR element. We enter BR right there, and then we just copy and paste, and then Control save, and let's get into our web browser. You see, when we enter a BR tag, there is no spacing right here. It just breaks the line to move to the next space. So I hope you've seen the difference between the pre-formatted text and the BR tag. The BR tag, it just breaks the line to move to another new space, but for pre-formatted text, it also leaves this space right here but only ignores the white space. Let's save this and get into our browser to see the difference. You see, there's a white space within here, but the other white spaces are getting ignored. But for the BR tag, the white space is right there, but the line is just skipped to the next space. So that's our headings and paragraph. Let's get into lists. Under list, we have three types of lists. We have the unordered list, which is usually bulleted. We have ordered list, which is numbered, and then the description list. This is the structure of an ordered list. We have the start tag UL and the close tag UL. Then within the UL tags, we have the LI tag for list. And then you enter item 1 and then item 2. That's the structure of an ordered list. It is the same for ordered list. All you have to change is the UL tag and enter OL tag of ordered list. So an ordered list and ordered list are somehow similar. All you have to change is the start and closing tag. For an ordered list, you enter UL. For ordered list, you enter OL. Description list is somehow quite different from the ordered and unordered list. For description list, you start with the start tag being DL, the closing tag being DL. Remember, for end tags, we have the forward slash. Now, within the tag, the start tag and end tag for the description list, we have the description term element. So for here, description term element, you enter the description term, and then you define the description term within the description definition element. So this is the structure of a description list. Let's get into our practical part or into our editor so that we may understand each practical. Now let's get into our list practically. So let's start with our unordered list. So we say the structure is UL for the start tag, and then within the UL we enter our list. Within the UL we enter our list, and by the way, these are not case sensitive. You can enter them being in capital letters or even in small letters, but it's recommendable to enter them into small letters. So the structure UL for an ordered list, and then we enter the list of items in between the UL tags. So let our first list be Now let's get into the practical part of list. Let's start with an ordered list. As we had said, the structure of an ordered list, we start with the UL tag of the start tag of the unordered list. This is the closing tag of the unordered list, and then in between we have the LI tag for the LI tag for the list in between the UL tag. So this is where we will enter our content of the list of items that we want to be listed within our browser. And remember, UL tag or the unordered list, it is bulleted. Now let's say list of vegetable, let's say cabbage. And kales, say cabbage and kales, and spinach. And then control save and open with live server. And here we go. This is our unordered list: cabbage, kales, and spinach, and it is bulleted. We may enter a heading for the list of items. So may above the UL tag you may enter heading. Let's use heading 4, vegetables, or let's say vegetables to buy. Then control save, and then we shift into our line server. You see, vegetable to buy is our heading of our list of items, and then we have cabbages, kales, spinach, and that's our unordered list. Same as to ordered list. Let's just copy this, because we said unordered list and ordered list are quite similar, only that for the UL part you have to change it to be OL for the ordered list. Let's paste it right in here and change this to ordered list. Let's change it to ordered list. We said ordered list, it is numbered, but an ordered list bulleted. Then control save, open with live server, and here we go. We have our our ordered list and unordered list. Ordered list is numbered, unordered list it is bulleted. Let's enter heading also for the ordered list. Let's use HTML also and save. Now let's get into description list as our last and third types of list. We say there are three types of list: unordered list, ordered list, and description list. We said description list is quite different from ordered and unordered list. So here is the start tag of the description list and the end tag of the description list. Then we have the description term. Let's say David is the description term within our description list. And then beneath it we have the description definition. The description definition, let's say this is my name. You may also add on it and say description term. Then description definition. Say description definition. Sorry for that. Description definition is this is easy to learn. Then hit control save. Then you may enter your heading right in here. Let's say heading 3 and say this. Then control save and open with live server. And there may be also no need to open with live server, so long as you opened it at first time. You have to hit on control save and shift to your browser. And here we go. Vegetables to buy being our unordered list, which is bulleted, ordered list, which is numbered, then the description list. We have the description term is David, description definition, this is my name. description term HTML, description definition. This is easy to learn. And that's our headings, paragraphs, and the three types of lists: ordered list, bulleted, ordered list, numbered, and description list, having description term and description definition.